Do it.
Hey folks, thank you again for joining us for another exciting episode of YOMO. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. So today we're on 316, reflection 316. I keep saying 216 for some reason, but it's 316. I think I don't realize how far we've gone, but we are on the last page of our 365 journey. So there's only so many left that until we hit that mark. But here we are.
Yeah.
The book today is called The
page.
Godfather.
I mean, I think everybody knows this book, but the how many pages did we start off with here? So there were
We have 8 pages.
I think there was more, wasn't it? The original 365.
We have 8 pages total.
Yeah, 8 pages total. Yeah.
And so we are on the last page of our blog, which like I said, we're almost there. I mean, we're talking about 40 pages, right?
Yeah, we have 40, about 40 left. Yeah.
39 including,
pretty wild, honestly. Like, I mean, it really is. I mean, so we're if this was a marathon, we're on like mile marker 2023.
But it's not.
It isn't, but I'm saying if it were, we're on like mile marker 23. I was treating it that way as we were going through this journey, but
yeah,
I don't think so anymore.
I never felt the marathon in this. I was just saying, hey, just send the cake coming.
Right. Well, now I feel that way more so after I finished it. Now I'm just running to run every day, like just like a normal running, but just keep going, keep climbing a little bit every day.
Yeah, you gotta get your run in, one of those things where you do the same thing every day. Hey, I gotta get my cake, I gotta get my breakfast, I gotta get my whatever it is that it is you, right? This is one of ours.
Exactly. So this is book 316. It is The Godfather, which I'm assuming you've seen this movie. Do you know what this is about?
The Godfather?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about the movie The Godfather?
Yeah, you've seen the movie The Godfather?
I've seen parts of it, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is so I don't know if you know this, but The Godfather is actually a book. It was written as a book first and adapted into a movie. I had no idea. Also, I'm a little ashamed to admit this, but I have never seen the movie The Godfather. I'm an Italian American of Sicilian descent. I don't know what it is.
You're the last sheep.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is in theory, this is about my people.
This is your family.
I know,
this
right?
This is your family history, and you're the last sheep.
not in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I am from the Midwest. I am not from the East Coast. So,
like I said, you're the last sheep.
Right, exactly. My family's a bunch of family of chefs and cooks and restaurant owners. Not mob men like on the East Coast.
I mean, the mob needs chefs too.
They do.
Yeah. And I think to me, chef is one of those, I guess, more prevalent front. Restaurants. Restaurants and diners and all that. That's what they do most of the business.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that like, okay, so this is, I've never in my entire life had any idea of mob connections with my family, right? However, I will say at one point in time in my life when I was really young,
maybe you're not privileged enough yet.
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying. At one point in time when I was really young, like my great uncles and other prominent family members that are pretty well connected, and the restaurant owners and things like that, I overheard them. I don't know if it was a joke or not, but they were like, hey, we may not be directly connected to the mob, but like, if we need somebody, we know who to call, and I'm like, okay, fine. I don't know what that means. I don't really care, to be honest with you. It's never been a part of my life, but that is neither here nor there as it relates to this reflection. I just thought it was funny that I had never seen this movie before, and the Amazon algorithms, thought, hey, just wanted to recommend this book. And I was like, this is a book. I was like, how's that? I was like, well, it's like, never seen the movie, so I guess better time than now to, I mean, it's new to me. So I was like, why not? Everybody always talks about how great of a movie this is. I might as well check it out. And I will say this, this is the first time in the entire 316 up until this point in time reflections in this journey that I audibly gasped out loud while consuming this book, where it was like, no joke. I remember one of the days I think I was on the treadmill running, and when Sonny Corleone was killed, and I was like, oh my God, it was no joke. I mean, I get why it was a really good movie, or while it's been so well received by so many people. That said, this actually book is the one thing that I learned about from the Corleone family is you can call them whatever you want to call them. You can say all the bad things you want to say about their family, but the one thing you will never be able to say is that is not a family. That is a family of deep values and principles. I mean, everything that they did was, from what I read in this book, and I've never seen the movie still, just to be clear, I've still never seen the movie. But from what I read in this book, Don Corleone and his family operated by a very, very, very strict code, right? They some of their more famous values were never let them see you angry. Omerta, the code of silence. Always reason first. Use your reason first. Don't ever share your real thoughts with anyone outside the family, and graciously give to anybody that's in your orbit that is in need of help, because one day you're going to be able to call back a favor from them, right? But this was their values, right? This is like, no matter what, like, and this is, I think, what in a weird way, when you read this book, like, or when you watch this movie, I'm guessing, like, you don't, you've seen the movie, you said, so do you feel like they're the villains of the movie, or do you feel like they're kind of like this weird anti-hero almost,
No,
like
I don't think they're the villains. I mean, they have their own principle and they act on it. So to me,
Right.
villains is somebody who goes against what they say. That is my definition of a villain.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
I mean, the thing is, like, they just operate a business, and yeah, they don't follow the rule, but the thing is, you're forcing them to force it. But I'm saying is they have their own values. Like, so you imagine you have your religion, right? And you have the freedom of religion. Well,
right.
this is their religion. So
Yep.
how can you say that, hey, you can't, you have to do this and that? So to me, I don't feel that they are the villain
Right.
in the
I agree.
movie, just because of how I see the world. I don't know about other people,
No, I
but
agree. I think that's why this.
yeah,
I
I
think
just
that's
think they
why.
have their own way of doing things, and that's fine. Do what you want, do what you will. As long as
Right.
you are true to who you are.
But I think that's the exact reason why, like, the Corleone family is so endearing to so many people. I mean, they're killers, they're mobsters, they're thieves, or whatever, but like, they're people of very strict values, right? And like, they're people that, like, we've talked about this a million times before on
I
this
mean,
journey,
we
but
do the same
it,
thing, and the thing is, it's perspectives, right? You say,
it
well,
is
I mean, you think about it. If you are nice to someone, right, you're gonna have to ignore someone else. If you say yes to somebody, you have to say no to other people. I mean, that's just the way it
right.
is, right?
Yeah.
And so you say, let's say United States is a good country, right? We try to help people, but at the same time, other people say, well, the way that you help me is hurting someone else, right? So you say, hey, so you look at, like, North Korea and in Vietnam, for example. When you help democracy in South Korea, well, the North see you as a bad guy,
Right. Yeah.
right? So
Right.
you can praise yourself all you want, but at the end of the day, it's like, do you believe in the core values that you share, or you don't? If you don't share it, then you are the enemy. You are the bad
Yeah.
guys. To me, it's all relatives. And so for me, it's because I can relate to their own values. To me, they say, well, I can see it. I mean, I can see that, hey, if I were to be in that orbit, then yeah, I mean, to me, this is just another tribe, another culture.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I can't go to another country and say, hey, the way you guys do things is bad, right? I am going to step in and I'm gonna shun you guys and blah blah. But who am
Well,
I?
this is
Who am I to say?
this is why we hate terrorists, right? Like, I mean, in a lot of ways, because they don't play by the rules. They don't have any values. They're anti-values. They're like, well, I mean, they have like one value, but like I don't know, they don't play by the rules, right? They don't
No, the
like,
thing is, to me, terrorist is a bad a bad group. The reason for that is because they are already bad to their people.
right?
Because terrorists, they don't actually go and carry out the act themselves. They actually like brainwash someone else to do it. They brainwash their own people to do it, right? And they say, well, you go and bomb people, I'll take care of your family, or I will give you 72 virgins. This is the famous 72 virgin story. Right? Why is it virgin, like 72 virgin story? It's some guy, hey, he's in big debt and his mom is dying, and they say, well, you do this one thing for all the American, the Americans bad. So you basically persuade somebody to go and do something bad. So the same thing is I told you about the gangs and the kids. The kids are not bad. The gangs that are bad, right? The gangs goes and pick this kid out of the street, knows nothing, and start to whisper, like the devil whisper in your ears about, okay, these guys are bad. He's making a bunch of money. Like people say about capitalism, right? They talk about capitalism is taking all the money from you. You go there and you take it back. It's yours. Like you feed this false narrative to your own fucking people. Right. And to me, it's against my set of beliefs. And when I see that, it goes against. So I see them as bad guys because it's against my belief. Because if somebody believes in the same thing as they do, then they are a good guy and they bond together, right? So to me, back to the bottom line is it's relative. It's what you share. If you share the same core values, then you are on the same side. And when you're on your own side, you are the good guys. Regardless if you are you are the fucking devil, right? You still are the good guy just because you're on the same side. And it's on your side.
Yes. Well, I think you also just hit on a really, 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 really important point too of Don Corleone. Like, this is exactly what I'm saying. It's Don, the leader of the Corleone family, followed these guidelines himself. He was the model citizen of this. He was the person that always did this. He never asked anybody to do anything that he wouldn't do himself. And this is the rules that he covered. This is how he asked his family to act. This is how he asked all of his people to act. And this is how he acted. But to your point, like what you just said, I think was really, really, really important is like people want to be around people that say what they're going to do and do what they're going to say. When you're the leader of a terrorist group, in theory, and you're convincing other people to go do your dirty work, you're like, well, I can't kill myself. I'm going to go convince you. Well, yeah, you should. I mean, if that's what you really care about, then you should. If that's your values, then you should go be willing to do the exact same thing you're asking everybody else to do. And that's at full circle. When we talk about clubbing, this is what we're talking about. We're doing what we say we want everybody else to do around us every single day, and we're doing it every single day, right? If we sat here and talked about this shit all day long for years and years and years, and then we didn't do it, then you could absolutely look at us and be like, well, you guys are just trying to brainwash a bunch of other people and you're not even doing the same shit yourself. Well, that's not true. We are doing it every single day. If you ever, like, I met with one of my like really closest friends, I would say, in the world the other day. And we hadn't seen each other for a couple months, and we went out to grab a drink because she had some important life happening things that were going on, and I was excited to talk to her and hear about it and celebrate with her and yada yada yada, right? Well, some of the stuff that even she doesn't know, things that I do every single day, like she doesn't, like, I don't talk about it to them. Like if it's not, why would I? Like, this is just what I do every day, right? Like I don't need to go brag to somebody about the stuff that you and I do, because it's not a bragging situation. It's how we live our lives. This is who we are, right? This is what it is. It's not like I read a bunch of books, or I did a lot of this, or I wrote, blah, 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 or I ran, 35 miles this week, or I played, I won pickleball tournaments or whatever. Like, I mean, you could sit there and brag all day long, but that's not what the outcomes have nothing to do with why the inputs that go into any of these things. It is us following our values of Clubbity that we care about, and you and I both care about, and we're just doing these actions. Like, that is that is it. That is point blank period, right? You know, and you talk
Mhm.
about like Don Corleone, like this is exactly how he was. He was like, these are my principles. These are the things that we're going to govern us by. And this is how I'm going to behave every single day. I'm not doing it for some show. I'm not doing it for some ulterior motive. I'm not doing it to convince you to go do something. This is just how we're going to live this because we decided we wanted to live this way. And there's reasons behind our choices, right? And I'm sure there's reasons behind his choices, and their family's choices. But like the point of the matter always goes to people can sniff bullshit out a mile away, right? Like they can either say you're doing this for the right reasons or you're doing it for the wrong reasons, or at worst case scenario, you're doing it to be true to who you want to be, and that's just who you're going to expect, right? Like I mean, that's the point of values, right? Like and like you know, I think you hit the nail on the head with terrorists. Like people, like I think people can sniff that shit out a mile away when you're like, eh, you know, fine. Even if I did want to believe what you know how you guys what you guys cared about, like you said the exact thing. Is like, why is Osama bin Laden hiding in a fucking palace somewhere or whatever, guarded by 500,000 people when he's asking other people to go get into a plane and bomb a World Trade Center, right? Like, I mean, that's not being true to what he thinks. You know, in my opinion, he's a bunch of bullshit. And I think
I
that's
mean,
what other people sniff out too. You know.
and I don't. To me, I think it doesn't matter what kind of culture you belong to. I don't think any culture likes a hypocrite, right?
No,
I mean, it doesn't
no.
matter what you believe in as long as you're true to your belief,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Right.
But if I don't think there's a culture for hypocrites.
I don't
You know
think
what I mean?
so. I mean,
Because you
I
think about
agree.
thieves, right? There's
Right.
honor among thieves, right?
Right.
So to them, it's like even if I'm the bad guy, right? I still have my honor. I mean, I
Right.
would do what I say, right? I'm not gonna be like, hey, I'm two timing, two facing or whatever. It's like nobody in any culture wants a hypocrite.
Nobody. Like, there's even rules of war. You're like, what the fuck does rules of war mean? Like, isn't it war? Like, aren't you supposed to just do whatever you got to do to kill somebody? No, there's even rules to war. You know,
Yeah.
like the recent Hamas and Israel thing, and people were talking about like, well, you gotta, they need to follow the rules of war, and I'm like, follow the rules of war? What the fuck does that even mean? Like, like I mean, I get it. Like, there's some pretty crazy shit that people can do, and I mean, even at that point in time, we still like, like to your. I think that is really funny. I think we should research this. Like, is there a culture for hypocrites? Is a hypocrite the most hated person in this world? I mean, honestly, like,
I mean, I do. I hate them.
I agree.
I
I mean,
mean,
like
to me,
politicians are
it's
hypocrites.
like
Like, that's why
that's
we hate
why
them.
people don't like politicians.
That's
That's
why we
why
hate
people don't
them.
like
They have no
sleazy
values, right?
salespeople, right? I
Right.
mean, like I said, sales professional are like a noble profession because sales they bring solutions. But then hypocrite goes and they turn this profession into something
Yeah,
bad.
manipulative, lying. They have an ulterior motive, right? Like, I mean, if you truly want to be the best sales professional, it's because this is what I do. Genuinely want to help people because that's one of your core values, and genuinely help them, right? Like, no matter what that outcome is, who gives a shit? Like the people that want to use tricks and tactics and whatever to like
I
fuck
mean, the
around with
thing is,
people's like
if you
psychology,
come to
like
me, I have a big problem. I have, let's say I have diabetes, I have shoulder problem, right? You
right,
come to me with a solution with the CBD balm, right? You are my lifesaver, and as a salesperson, like you are my lifesaver
right,
when you apply it the correct way. But then people say, well, I'm gonna manipulate this professions and act as if I'm this noble person trying to help you. But on the other end, it's like, well, I know these are snake oil that it does
right.
nothing.
It doesn't work.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna sell it as something else. So
right.
you turn something noble into something bad. And I think it's the more noble a particular professions or whatever, right? It is the easiest
Right.
to scam people
Yep.
with, right?
Good point.
Whatever it is, because and I think in every culture, no one can take a hypocrite as a core values and be. I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
No. I mean, I'm laughing because you're right. Unless no one would ever write "I'm a hypocrite" on their core values. Like, I don't even know that actually logically even works out because you can't hypocritic. You can't be a hypocrite of a because if you're one of your values is hypocrisy, then you can't even have integrity to that value of hypocrisy, right? Like, isn't that even like,
because it goes against hypocrisy,
right? Because it comes against hypocrisy. So it's like it's literally chaos, you know. I mean, it's just pure fucking chaos, is what it is. It's like you're gonna do whatever the fuck you want. There's no decision making structure. Is the point? That's why people don't like hypocrites. They don't know what to expect. They're like, you don't have any values. You are valueless, is what a hypocrite is, right? Like, I mean, that's really what it is.
It's like that you have no values,
right?
And you have all values.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, it's
so
only
so for us, like, okay, do you
right?
belong with us or you don't? I need to decide whether I let you into my orbit or I kick you out, right? That's what I need. But
It's
if you're
a chameleon.
I mean, it's like, okay, I don't know if you're on my side or on the other side. So, like I say, in all of the culture I've seen, I cannot foresee any culture can embrace a hypocrite as a value. It's
I mean, you actually technically can't if we're just using logic. But even if you did, like I think that basically is a no value, right? Which I don't know that that's a value, right? I don't know. I don't know that you can call no value a value. You know, because you're right. It's like you're a chameleon. You're just reaching into a bag of values and you're like, okay, what applies here? You know, and I'll just adapt and do what I got to do to get what I want to get out of this whole situation. Versus like what we're talking about with like Don Corleone and his family. Like, that's the thing, is like, you don't hate them because he's like, well, you made me do this. I told you what was going to happen if you did this, and this is what's going to happen. Like, you shouldn't have done that, right? Like, I have to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. I have to now, you know, like, this is what you've made me do. Like, that is not my fault. That is on you now, you know, like, versus like, honestly, this is why we hate politicians so much. Because I think you just fucking hit the nail on the head. That was not what I wrote about as reflection, but like, I think that is the number one reason why people look at politicians and they're like, I can't fucking even look at you. I can't stand you. Because every single goddamn time you say something different to somebody else, you know, based off of whether or not you're going to get their vote or not, right? You are a chameleon. You are a no value, right? Like, you are like, and people hate that. So like, actually, I'm gonna wrap up my actual reflection, then we can keep going on this topic because I'm interested in it. So the reason why I even brought up family values in this whole thing is this book reminded me, like, hey, look, I've spent the past, you know, Amelia and I have spent the past 316 books or reflections exploring since you know, this all started after her, obviously, her losing her, and then, you know, our journey that we've been on together has been really about exploring personal values, right? But one of the things that I forget is like how important it is to have a unifying code of family values. Not that we haven't been doing that with Clubany, but I'm looking at my own backyard and my own house, right? You know, and I was like, I think it's about damn time, you know, that my wife and I officially sit down and have this conversation of like, what do we want our family values to be? Like, I know I have my values. I know Amelia has her values. I know that Clubany has their values, but I don't know what our family values are. My personal family's values are. So I've asked Felicia a million times to try to do this with me, and we started to write it down a list, and then she just is like, I don't want to do this, and like, and I keep bringing her back in and pulling her back out. If she pulls her back out, I keep bringing her back in. I'm getting there. One day I will break through this whole entire thing, but like, this is important to me, and I will figure out what my family's values are, because we all need a decision making structure, right? I think that's what this is about at the end of the day. This is what values are about, is a decision making structure. Every family needs one. Every culture needs one, and people need to abide by it, or it's not, or it's irrelevant, right? Like, and then you're a hypocrite, right? So if I sat and if my wife and I got together and said one of our values is, you know, I don't know, give me a random value, patience, you know, like, or something like that. And every single night we're screaming at each other, get the fuck out the door, you know, run for trains all day long. That should be our values. Run for trains. And if we're gonna operate in chaos all day long, let's at least just make that one of our values, you know, like chaos, like, you know, fucking run for trains all day long, because that's what sometimes I feel like we're doing. But you can't. Yeah, but my point being is, like, we need to strategically say, don't run for trains. So when we know that we're going to be late and everybody's stressed out and we're all yelling at each other and, you know, trying to run out the door, and we just all can go, look, this is not what we want to do. Like, you know, and we can put our decision making structure into that, you know, whatever. That's what I would love to get to with my own family, as well as our culture, as well as everything else. But like, this book was just a really good reminder of, like, even the shittiest of families that kill people and steal from people, that operate on a family value structure, you know, you can still like them, and they're still good there's still something redeeming about them. Like it's like, God damn it. Like, I mean, this is like how powerful these things are. Now back to your thought process, because I think you're onto something really important with the hypocrisy.
But I think it ties into the values, though, because like you say, one of the things that you just said just now is like every culture needs a value, needs a set of values. Every family need a set of value, because if you don't have values, it means that, oh, I don't know if I believe in it. You never declare that, hey, you are this or that, right? Meaning you can be a chameleon, you can be a hypocrite and pretend that it wasn't your fault, right? So you can be this hypocrite. And when a set of people believes in a certain value, and you believe in hypocrisy, right? Even inside of your orbit, inside of your family, inside of your circles, you are hypocrites. You cannot trust the other guy. You think about politicians, right? They don't trust each other because they are all hypocrites. So when you don't declare a family value, you are essentially saying, I'm holding on to the hypocrisy card. You are using it, right? Because you say, well, I don't run for train. And then you run for train sometime. You do this sometime, right? And you say, well, I don't lie, but then sometimes you lie because you are using that card, because you want to leave yourself room for that. But if you declare a family value, you say, well, we do this. We
don't lie to each other.
We don't lie to each other. Like whatever the core value is, you don't use the hypocrisy card anymore, right? This is the reason why people, I think, shy away from making that commitment. They still want a way out, using the hypocrisy hole to weasel their way out of it. And I think
that's exactly
in order for a community to be strong knit, to be trusted, and to die and sacrifice yourself for others, you have to have these people declare their values to you. So that hey, the guy that's standing next to me, I'm going to fight along his side. That's not going to stab me in the fucking back. You think about it, right? You think about how the thing is, you are willing to like the people that stand behind you, you will protect them, right? You think about that kind of value. The guy that's standing behind you, you will do whatever. The only way that an enemy can get to the guy behind you, it is through you, through your dead body. That is the value you declare. And that is such a strong value that you say, well, if you want to get to this guy behind me, you got to accept my dead body. That is saying something. And the guy that's next to you, these are your brothers, your band of brothers. This is what you call the covenant, right? The covenant. If you believe, you are banding together, just like you're in a war, and the guy next to you, you trust him with your life,
right?
Because you are protecting his side, and he protecting your side. You are not worrying about whether or not he's protect you. You're going to say, well, I'm worried about this side only. Whatever this side, I trust him, and that is the only way for for you to have that kind of trust. If they all declare that, hey, I am on your side, this is what I believe, versus, hey, I can't say, I don't want to commit. Meaning, hey, do I have your back? Do you have my back, or you don't? I don't know. So that means when I'm fighting on this side, I have to watch my back and to make sure that he's still there, protecting my back, because I'm fucking here protecting his side and his blind side, right? So you think about it, without a core value, there is no such thing as a close-knit culture or close-knit tribe. There's no such thing as a strong family if you don't have a family values. So to me, it is a must. If you don't have it, by default, you are holding on to the Hippocratic card. You are going to use the hypocrisy at one time in your life, probably more than once.
Oh, all the time. Like when you leave that card on the table, you use it all the time. Like, I mean, like there is no principles. Like if you say, like even if one of you says, like, one of my core values is integrity, right? Let's just pretend that that my family, said, like, never outspokenly says it's integrity. If I'm always true, to something and say what I want to say and do what I do what I say I'm going to do. But like my wife doesn't or something like that. Like, I can't, like, to your point, like if as a family we agreed, hey, this is important to me, this is important to you, it's important to all of us, right? Like, and if she holds on to a card and I hold on to that, to a card, and even if it is one of my values and I don't share that with her or something along those lines, like you always just leave the door open for.
But then you don't know that she's gonna have your back, because that's just
Right.
like what I told you. Like the guy
Yeah.
next to you, you don't trust him or her 100% because you never say that. You never declare that. And she never declared, hey, don't worry, I have your back, right?
Right.
And so you fighting, but you're gonna be distracted from the back end. Say, hey, oh, I gotta like
I got to worry about some shit back
I gotta
there?
worry about some shit
Right,
behind
right,
me, right?
right.
I can't really focus 100% on the front end of here. And so that's the thing is, in a culture, there is no such thing as a tribe that embraces hypocrisy, because even in that tribe, because the individual person in the
I gotta
tribe
look that up.
don't trust each other, so it can't have a tribe of hypocrisy.
Oops, I spelled it wrong. It's a value expressing inconsistency. I mean, yeah, it's basically like
I mean, it's an anti-value if you have
right,
to
right.
define it. But I'm saying is like, if you said, let's say, because let's take politician, right? Politician in their own like rights is a tribe, right? A
Right.
tribe of politicians, but they don't hold. So each one of them have hypocrisy as a value, right? But they can't practice the community tribe-wide hypocrisy, because each hypocrisy doesn't work with, they don't work with other hypocrisy, because each politician don't trust the other politician, because each of them has hypocrisy in it. So
Right.
in a way, it's like hypocrisy is one of those things where it's like it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in a value structure.
Well, I mean, it's an anti-value. I mean, this is the definition, right? Like to claim to have moral standards or beliefs which one's own behavior does not conform to. So it's an anti-value. I mean, it's really what it is, right? I don't know if there's any other.
But it can be a practice.
Oh, sure, you could definitely, you could definitely use it as a. I don't even know that you could use hypocrisy as a decision-making structure either, because if you did, then it would be a value, because then you would say like, well, I'm going to say this and I'm going to do that, but that is your value though. It's like, I'm just going to always lie. Like we talked about this. You remember back when one of our reflections about the book Lying by Sam Harris, I think it was, which like just that do you remember when I told you Sam Harris is one of the only like 3 books I think that I didn't write a reflection on after I read his book on. I don't know why, something about that guy just rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I don't know what it is, but like I can't put my finger on it, but something about that guy just doesn't seem like it jives with who I don't know. I don't know. I can't even describe it. But anyway, that was the one Sam Harris book that I did was that book called Lying. And I remember the reflection, was basically something along the lines of the only person you can lie to is yourself, right? Like if you are a hypocrite, that's all you do is lie to yourself. You say that you want to do one thing and then you do something else. Like, I mean, like if you can lie to yourself, you can lie to anybody, right? Like, I mean, it's
I mean, hypocrisy, it's something that you do. If you practice hypocrisy, then you gotta lie to everybody.
But then that's a value. Like I'm saying,
No. Hold on.
If you were to put lying, you can make lying one of your values.
I think hypocrisy is not being consistent, because so that's the thing. It's very hard to define hypocrisy because it's anti-everything.
It is anti-everything. This is what I'm saying is like I would actually respect somebody that said, "Hey, I'm a liar. That's one of my values. I lie." So whatever the words that are coming out.
But then that's the truth.
But then that's the truth, right? Like so, it's what I'm saying. I don't know how you can do this honestly. Like
because when you say you're a liar, you're not being
you're not being truthful, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. This is my point. It's like I don't know. I honestly, I'm really struggling to reconcile this in my head of how, yeah, I mean, really, like, hypocrisy is just basically a chaos bomb, I mean, it's really what it is. Like, because there's just no, we love consistency and order, and it's like anti-consistency and order is what it is, right? I mean, that is basically what it is. It's chaos.
Yeah, it's neither negative or positive. I mean,
Right. It's just chaos.
it just changes whatever is there, right? So you can
Mhm.
have a negative, and so when you say I'm lying, it's like, well, you're not being hypocritical because
Right.
you're being truthful. It's like, you can't do that.
It
That
doesn't.
that that, that violates hypocrisy.
None of it even makes any fucking sense. Like, because I mean, it's I mean, I guess if you thought about it from this perspective, order and consistency. Maybe this is why values are so valued. Because we crave order and consistency so much, and then you see like the Corleone family. Like, the one thing that you can never say about that family is that you don't know what you're going to get from them. I mean, they say it all the time throughout the entire book, and I mean, I'm assuming the movie as well. Like, what they're going to do, right? Like, I mean, am I wrong? Like,
Yeah. You pretty much expect it. Hey, if you do this outside of these rules, you know the consequences. I mean,
right?
everybody knows it because they
Everybody
make it
does.
pretty clear. These are the rules. And the thing is, I think in any culture that I've seen across, whether that's the Asian culture, the Western cultures, your Middle Eastern,
Right.
whatever culture it is, there's always a set of beliefs that we follow, and that is core values to us.
Mhm.
That's why I said to you, I said for you, you hit the head nail on the head and say every culture needs value, every family needs value, every tribe needs a value, every nation needs a value, every group of people needs a value. These are
Right.
common beliefs that we agreed on.
We need
This
structure. We need consistency. We need order. Like, and like, because that is important to us. I mean, we've talked about with like the Black Swan, and like, yes, this world is random, and Black Swans will reshape our lives, but like,
Because without
a thousand
structure,
day.
you cannot create the net, right? You think about
Right.
a net or a hive, so you can't create a hive if there's no
There's
structure
no,
to it,
yeah, right. You need
right?
structure. Like, we all do. We need,
I mean,
we crave it.
you think about the puzzle or the Lego, right? Without the connections, how do you connect the puzzles together? How do you put the
No,
Legos together if they don't connect? If you say,
you
hey,
can't.
random shapes, it's like,
Right.
okay, so you cannot create a unit. That's what I'm saying is a tribe is a unit. A
Right.
nation is a unit. The
Mhm.
whole entire human race is a unit.
Right.
As a human race, you are competing against Neanderthal, competing against saber-toothed tigers, against like woolly mammoths. You have survived and you have expanded your unit.
Right.
You look at the nation, you look at the family. So every single group of people needs to have a value or set of value to
Yeah.
become a unit.
Yeah.
Without it, you basically say, hey, you're just kind of hanging around. So a family cannot be a strong family without a family value. So to me,
Great.
I would encourage you to continue to pester your wife
Yeah,
to
I will.
agree
I will.
on
Yeah.
it
I'm
because
gonna re-bring it up because we started writing it down. We had like an hour chat about it, and then she was like, "Oh, let's pick this up another time." And I tried to question her a few other times, and it just never. She's just not one of those people who likes to do this stuff. Like, so I got to push her though, because I think it is really
I
important.
think it's important. I think
Like, yeah,
after this talk that you and I have, I think it's really important
yeah,
to have like, hey, you want a long lasting relationship with your family. You have to understand who they are and what they
right.
believe in, and also express and declare what it is you believe so that they know. Because right now, I say, well,
And your
let's say
kids
that
need to know it. Your
Luca
kid,
grows up and say, well, dad's like this, that's like that, right? Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to guess, and
right,
so you're gonna guess wrong, right? And but if you declare to him, say, hey, I'm this kind of person, Luca, right? I have integrity. I live for two. This is what I do.
right.
He's going to understand you, and he's going to have a better connection with you.
Yeah.
And so, then how a lot of people become estranged and becoming like really separated apart because there's
Mhm.
no connections. Because you don't declare your intent, then there's no connections. And so you want
Right.
to have that close knit family where you have just how back in old days where you have Italian family, or like you have the grandma with like 20, 30 people around every Sunday.
Right.
That is a close knit family, and they have a particular way of doing
Family
things. When you
values.
say
Right.
when you see grandma, she does this and she does it all the time because she
Mhm.
declares it. Hey, this is what we do, and we don't do this. Like whatever it is. Let's say we pray at a table.
Right.
Every time you go to grandma, you gotta pray.
Right.
You don't even like think about
Oh,
it. You say, well,
that is how my grandma's house is. I mean, like we every like I still.
that's a value.
Right.
That's a
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I
practice.
mean,
It's a
like
value because
we used to always eat dinner together. That was like one of our. It was an unspoken family value, but we always got together and we always had dinner every single night. Like my mom cooked, and like and like I grew up, and I think that's a really important time, right? Like that
Mhm.
was something that we did. And when we didn't do it, like or if my mom were to say like, hey, having us all together for dinner every night is important, but then every fucking night, it was like, hey, fend for yourself. I'd be like, well, that's not true, mom. Like, I mean, like, you don't give a shit about this stuff, like, but like, so it's even more so for your kids, like for a family value connection piece, because like we've talked about this as well with like the drama of the gifted kid and other discussions we had in the past. You can really fuck a kid up. Like they need of more than anything order and
They
consistency.
need order.
They need order. They crave it. That is like fundamental to their upbringing. So if they never know what to expect out of their parents, like that just provides a just pure chaos that you're putting their life into when they're growing up.
Because
And
they're already in chaos because they're
right,
trying to figure out what's going on in the world, right?
they need an
And you are
anchor.
giving them mixed signals,
Right.
and it basically confuses them even more. And they say, "Well, I don't know what to do," and so
Uh,
they're out there to fend for themselves. But if you
right.
have order and say, "Well, at least over here, I feel safe because I know that I do this, I get that.
Right.
I don't do
Right.
this, I get that, right?"
Right.
And so they crave that order. I really agree with you when you say that they do crave orders and consistency because most of what they're trying to figure out in the world, trying to grow up
It's
and
chaos.
experience things, it's already overwhelming for them
Mm-hmm.
to process information. And here you're adding fuel to the fire. So
Right.
that's why they do like structures and rules. They may not agree with you, but they
Right.
like it.
But they like it.
Psychologically, they like it.
Yeah.
Right? It makes them feel safe and say, well, I don't have to worry about this. I just need to worry about the other stuff. So when I go out there and I do the shit, I can always run home.
Right. You have a safety net.
Right?
You have a place where you feel like you're accepted and that people understand you and that you can go back to. Like, I mean, that's the
I
thing
mean,
is like I can, we can.
that's the sanctuary. To them, it's a sanctuary because this is how they get the courage to go out there and explore new things because they
Yeah.
know they can always run home and get under the sanctuary and they're gonna get protected and they know exactly what to expect and what to happen if I don't do this and that. Because if you
That's
don't declare
such
it,
a
right?
good point.
Let's say because the thing is, if you don't tell your kid, hey, I may be disappointed in you, but I will always support you. You
Right.
declare that to your kid, they will always come to you when they need your help. But if you don't do that,
Right.
they don't know where to go, and they will say, "Well, I don't know where to go." So anyone can scam them. Say, "Hey, I'll go
Parents are a
come
liar. Yeah. Right.
come to my gang, and I'll take care of you like family." Like, oh, you don't have
Right.
a family? I'll be your family. I'll be your big brother. And hey, this guy
Right.
here, he's taking money. Blah blah blah. Go, just bang bang. Right? That's how they turn these kids into gangsters because they just, I mean,
Yeah.
and then they're taught the same thing. Hey,
Well,
you got,
they provide structure and or they provide structure and order. Like,
yeah,
like I mean, it may not be good structure and order, but I mean that's exactly what the
it's
Corleone
that's
family
what they
was.
crave.
Like, I mean, right? I mean that's what a lot of like. So I chuckled when you said like when you have a place you feel safe at, you can go do raccoon shit. Really, is what it is,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Like so like I think maybe that is one of the reasons why I've always been really curious. I've always known that my parents will take care of me if I fuck shit up. And I don't mean that I wanted to go out there just to intentionally fuck shit up, but like, I was never afraid to take a chance on stuff, right? Like I was
Right.
never afraid to be like, hey, I'm gonna go move to some new city that I don't really know anybody at or freaking even or buy a car that I don't know that I can totally afford or take a job that I don't know that I can last at or something like that or you know, go take some time off to go do whatever, or gamble too much or whatever and make a mistake, you know, something like that. I get my point being is like I always knew that there was somebody always that would help me out, that I could come back to and be like, okay, made a mistake, I'm back in the the comfort, place, where I know where I can where I know what matters and what doesn't matter, and then I can get my bearings back and then go back out and try to fuck up again, and like that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not afraid to do a lot of stupid shit now, and I'm okay with that, right? Like, I mean, yeah.
And the thing is, that's what humans is, because you have the ability to explore, and your your faculty is designed for that. It's designed for explorations. But if you shun the kid, you say, hey, stop asking me why 300 times a day, just eat your damn fries, right? You are creating a value too, but it's a negative value. And you shun the kid from being curious. And then he won't amount to anything. Then you keep yelling and say, why don't you amount to anything? Why are you so chicken shit? It's like no, don't blame on the kid. You did it. You scared him to death. Yeah, and you basically close up their world, and their world is completely chaos. That's why kids get bullied so easy. Because the thing is, if you have, let's say you have a sanctuary, a family that knows exactly what happened to you. You go out there and somebody tell you, hey, you're ugly, you're that. It's like, it doesn't matter, because I don't lose everything. I don't lose everything, because at least when I come home, right, people will tell me the truth. This is what I expect. But if you don't have that structure at home, then when people tell you you're ugly, right, then you feel depressed. And then when you feel depressed, you come home, then what do you do? What do? You go and you lock yourself in the room. Why the fuck do you lock yourself in a room? Because even in your own home, you don't feel safe. You have to go into the fucking corner.
Right.
So that is what I call like the unstructured family. So to me, family value is super important. That's why I kind of like perked my ear up when you say, well, I'm trying this with Felicia, but she doesn't want to catch on and commit to it.
No, it's important.
And I think that's important, because the thing is, it's not only for you and for her, but that's all for the kids as well. Because
for the kids. It's probably more for the kids.
More for the kids.
My wife is a value-based person. I'm a value-based person. Like, but what are we together, right? Like, that doesn't mean just because she does. If, like you said, if nobody speaks about it, and nobody brings it into the existence, and nobody can hold each other accountable to these things, then it's no better than
being a hypocrite.
Yeah, but to be a hypocrite. Like, the worst thing you could be as a parent is a hypocrite. Like, I mean, that is probably the absolute worst thing you could do. If it's a monkey say, monkey see, monkey do situation, right? Or what is it?
Monkey see, monkey do. I mean, do as I say, not do as I say,
not as I do. Right. If you see
that never works, by the way.
No, it never works. If you see your dad outside smoking and drinking all day long or whatever, and then you're like, don't smoke and drink. I mean, like, the chances of you not, I mean, I wonder. I mean, I know I'm sure there's I don't know what the corollary is, but I'm sure there's a massive corollary to kids growing up with their parents, that are alcoholics, and their kids turn into alcoholics. They're like, oh, this is what our family values. We drink all the time.
And to me, the reason why kids are alcoholic, kids turn to alcoholic, is because you prevent them from drinking. For me, is my kid want to drink alcohol, I'll give it to them.
Right. Yeah,
because the thing is, the max they can drink is probably a sip, and they will stop drinking because it tastes awful.
It does. Well,
but the thing is, this is one of the concepts that I told you about the elephant, right? When an elephant is young, you tie the rope to the little anchor, like a wooden anchor, right? He can't get out. But when he's like 10 times his size, he still won't get out, because he has the experience when he's young. So for me, I give my kids, like, okay, you want to know what beer tastes like? Drink it. They stop drinking.
Yeah.
They won't drink again. They won't drink again unless like somebody forced them to drink, but they won't drink again.
I liked beer as a kid. My dad would give me sips of beer, and I was like, it's good. I actually liked it. Yeah.
Well, then give him some more until he puke.
Right. Well, you never did that, but I mean, well,
the
actually,
thing is, it's better when you do that under your supervision, and kind of do it one time. Yes, it's not good for the kid, but you have other remedy to get rid of the alcohol, and you know how to get rid of it. Right. But if they do that without your supervision, this is where the danger comes in. Because if they don't if they have never tried it, when their friends peer pressure them into drinking it, they don't know what it tastes like, so they'll try.
Well, they
They'll
don't even know.
try, and then they get peer pressure to, hey, you got to suck it up and say, hey, you can take it, right? You be strong. But if you hate it in the first place, you will refuse, so you will never get into that the situation where you are really like.
It's even worse than that. They don't have a decision making framework.
Right.
Like that's the truth. Is when you get put into situations where you're gonna be peer pressured, because it's gonna happen. Like everybody needs to have a decision making framework, right? Like, and if you grew up in a chameleon family, you're like, well, I'll do whatever everybody else is doing, that at least allows me to have the least amount of, bad shit happen to me. So if I'm in a group of people that are all smoking weed and I don't know, and I don't have any values, I'm gonna say, okay, fine, I'll smoke weed with you guys because that'll make, that's whatever is doing, I'll do that, right? Now if you grow up in a family where, for whatever reason you were taught a decision-making framework, that's really what we should teach is how values are a decision-making framework, right? Hey, Luca, hey, Amelia or whatever, like, this is how our family makes the decision. These are our values. Like when we're all running around and we're all going crazy and we say, hey, we all agreed at one point in time, your mom and I agreed at one point in time, not running for trains is really important. So if you hear us screaming and yelling at you guys and telling you we needed to go run, now we should strive to try to be early to church.
Yeah, but they'll call you out as well, because
right.
then you declare these are the I don't run for training, and you run for training and say, hey, Dad,
what are you doing?
What gives?
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, but that's the point, is right. This is what I'm saying is when you have a decision to make, that this is how you've been taught how to make decisions on your own and how to own your own. Go, hey, nope, this isn't what I should be doing. Like, this is not what I want to do, right? When you get out into the real world and you got to go and you're put into all those decision making scenarios that are going to be pivotal for your life, and you have no fucking compass at all, like that's the worst thing you could ever do, is like, then you're just going to go with whatever you think that other people want you to do, and then you're going to end up being hypocritical.
You don't make decisions when you don't understand and have a decision tree. You don't make decision, other people make it for you.
Exactly. Well, I mean, in a weird way, other people, that's a little bit of a do we all own our decisions, or the factors of a lot of others. That's fine. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, just have a framework. Like, I mean, I don't.
Well, you have to have a framework, because then it's right now, like, okay, why are you in Indiana?
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. Why am I in Houston? I don't know. I didn't make the decision. Someone else made it for me.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Would you agree?
I do.
How long you been in Indiana?
My
life.
well, my whole life minus.
Pretty much.
Well, no, I mean, I guess I've never technically not lived in Indiana. I mean,
But I'm saying is, why are you in Indiana? Because exactly, it doesn't matter. It does not matter whether you're born there or not. You didn't make the decision. That's my point. Right. You didn't make, someone else did, right? So it is on a random chance that the people who make the decision for you has your best interest, and that probability is low.
Probably,
right?
Yeah. Right.
And so most people, like for me, like let's say you go to college, right? The people you surround with, it's also by random. It's not really like, hey, you say these people for whatever reason just be there, and then they are the ones say, well, I have some experience, drinking some beers and some whatever, and you should drink it too, right? I messed up, you should be messed up too, right? I got beat up by my parents, by all the you need to do it too, because you and I need to be together, be strong, tribe value, right? They're gonna fuck you up.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, but they are the one that make decision for you, because you didn't know. The thing is, that's what I'm saying is, if you don't know anything about whatever it is, whatever I tell you, there is no comparison. You cannot compare something. Okay, I know this, and then you give me that. Oh, I can compare. You have to take it as the truth, because they ever tell you, hey, let's say an elephant has like 9 eggs, right?
I don't know.
You don't know. That's my point. Sure. There's no way for you to say no. There's no. You can't argue with me,
right?
Because you don't know. There's no decision. That's why people will make decisions for you. And I can tell you. Let's say will tell you lies. I can tell you a lot of lies, and you have no idea, because I tell you so subtle and so little in terms of like, not like ridiculous as elephant that you know something about. Let's say there is some kind of like an Asian, you know, moth or whatever that you never seen, and I tell you, hey, it has like nine legs or whatever. You don't know, so you can't say, well, no, that's impossible, blah blah blah, right? And I tell you, hey, people can, hold their breath for 6 minutes. No, 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 no. I mean, only when you have a certain, like for you say, hey, I can't hold my breath that long. Then you have some comparison. But I'll tell you something you never seen, you don't have any kind of experience. You will have to take it as the truth.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I can make decisions for you in those scenarios. So without a decision tree, you are lefting your life decisions to other people.
Right. And if you don't have family values, then you start off always already behind the eight ball as a kid, because if you don't grow up in an environment, where do you get that at? Like, I mean, like to your point, like where do you learn the power of values? I mean, I guess you could learn it in, if you're lucky, and like high school sports teams,
them, right?
Right.
Exactly. If you're lucky.
It's
if you're
or
lucky,
gang or your fraternity in college.
But that's probability, right? Probability.
Right,
it's random chance you're gonna hit the right kind of group that will, have your best interests at heart. Right. But the rest of them are just, hey, I just need you to be messed up as much as me.
Right. But we all have a family, and we all grow up from somewhere. So
and we all belong to some group, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because we are born with a certain DNA and genes and whatnot. Right. That's why I'm saying, hey, you gotta be who you gotta be, right? It's not who you want to be.
Right.
I can't be Michael Jordan. I just can't. I just can't, right? Yeah. I can't be Troy Aikman. I just can't do it. I want to. I just can't do it.
In another
I can't be Patrick Mahomes.
You never know. In the alternate universes, timelines, who knows?
Well,
right?
I'm not in the alternate universe, right. So that's a moot point.
That's right. All right.
So in this universe, they're gonna be me. Right.
Fair enough. I agree. All right. Well, let's. I think we're. I don't know about you. Any final thoughts? But I think I'm officially tapped.
Gotta have a family value. I gotta have one.
I'm gonna go talk to Felicia about this ASAP again to reignite that conversation, because I think it is really, really important. This is why I love doing this stuff, because I was reading this tonight before we came on here, and I was like, this is the reason for having a company. Company has values, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you saying something, and let's say when we say, hey, you and I believe in don't run for train, and you run for train, I will call you out. Hey, dude, you're running for trains. Right. Yeah. I tell you, don't drink that Jerry. That wasn't running for trains. That was
I'm saying that's different values. I've never quit.
Yeah,
I say, right. There's something you want to quit.
Don't endure that. Man, like that's gonna be a fun story for another day, because like, good Lord, there's some dipshit out there that's it reminds me of like celiacs, right? Every fucking day of my life that, for a small window, thank God it was only a small window of my life. That's basically how I felt when I was drinking like those tart cherry juices, where I was just fucking miserable. Like everything just felt fucking miserable after every time that I would drink that shit. And my stomach would just go throw it into fucking tissy, but the sad thing is like, there's so many people in this world that have that with every day when they eat their food that they eat. And then they're like, well, I guess I'll just endure it, and you're like, what are you doing?
I mean, this is what they do. They say it is what it is, because I mean, life is supposed to be miserable. They say it is what it is, because they keep eating this gluten, and it say, hey, my stomach is like completely
every time I eat it,
killing me. And I say, well, that's just life. I mean, people are living with like chronic pain. And I talk to them and I say, well, that's life, right? I said, I don't think so. No? I don't think life's supposed to be like that.
Yeah, I don't think everybody does that, All right. That was fun as always. We will see you all tomorrow night for 317.
317, yes. Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.